God says, before you scroll any further, pause for a moment and breathe slowly. This is not about fear, and it is not about urgency meant to pressure you. This is about awareness. Archangel Michael is not speaking to alarm you but to steady your heart. There is a shift unfolding around you, quiet and gentle, and it involves a connection that has been circling back into your life. Someone is going to reach out to you soon, and when that moment comes, it will not be random. It will carry weight, emotion, and meaning that you may not immediately understand. That is why you are hearing this now, not to panic, but to prepare your heart with clarity and calmness. There has been unfinished energy between you and this person. Words left unsaid, emotions left unexpressed, questions that lingered in the background of your mind. You may have tried to move on, telling yourself it no longer matters, yet deep inside there has always been a small space that wondered how things would have unfolded differently. Archangel Michael wants you to know that this upcoming call is not a coincidence. It is part of a divine alignment that has been slowly forming behind the scenes. Timing is everything, and this time, the timing is softer, wiser, and more mature than before. This person has been thinking about you more than you realize. There have been quiet moments when your name crossed their mind unexpectedly. They may have tried to ignore it, pushing the feeling aside, but something keeps drawing them back. Not because of obsession, not because of control, but because something unfinished needs gentle closure or renewed understanding. The call that is coming will carry emotion. It may carry apology, explanation, or simply a different tone than you have ever heard from them before. What matters most is not what they say, but how you choose to receive it. Archangel Michael says, do not answer from old wounds. Do not react from past hurt. When the call comes, answer with steadiness. Listen more than you speak. Feel more than you judge. You have grown since the last chapter you shared with this person. Your strength now is quieter. Your wisdom is deeper. You no longer need validation in the same way you once did. That is why this moment can unfold differently. The energy has shifted because you have shifted. There is also something important to understand. This call is not meant to disturb your peace. It is meant to reveal how far you have come. Sometimes life brings people back not to restart a story, but to show you that you are no longer the same person who once felt confused, rejected, or uncertain. When you hear their voice, you may notice that your heart feels more grounded than before. That is growth. That is healing. That is divine preparation. If reconciliation is meant to happen, it will happen naturally, without pressure. If closure is meant to happen, it will bring relief rather than pain. If this is simply a bridge of understanding before both of you continue separate paths, it will feel peaceful rather than chaotic. Archangel Michael is guiding this interaction so that it unfolds with clarity, not drama. With maturity, not confusion. With awareness, not emotional turbulence. There is also a lesson hidden inside this moment. You are being reminded that not every ending was truly an ending. Some connections pause so both souls can grow independently before meeting again on steadier ground. Whether this person stays or passes through briefly, you will gain something valuable from the interaction. Insight. confidence, emotional closure, or even renewed trust in your own intuition. When the phone rings or the message notification appears, do not let anxiety rise. Instead, take one slow breath. Remember who you are now. You are not the version of yourself who once doubted their worth. You are not the version who overexplained or overchased. You are calm. You are centered. You are aware. And that awareness will guide your response better than any advice ever could. Archangel Micheal wants you to understand that you are protected in this moment. No conversation can take away what is meant for you. No person can disturb what God has stabilized in your life. If this call leads to something beautiful, it will unfold gently. If it leads to closure, it will bring quiet relief. Either way, it will not break you. It will strengthen you. So listen carefully, not with fear, but with discernment. Not with urgency, but with readiness. You are being prepared, not warned. You are being aligned, not pressured. Something meaningful is about to surface, and you are strong enough to handle it with grace. Stay calm. Stay open. And when the call comes, let your response reflect the growth you have worked so hard to build. There is something deeper unfolding beneath the surface of your everyday routine, something subtle yet powerful that has been moving quietly in the background of your life. Archangel Micheal wants you to understand that this upcoming call is not simply about communication, it is about alignment. For a long time, certain emotions remained suspended between you and this person like unfinished sentences waiting for the right moment to be spoken. Time has passed, growth has happened, and both of you have changed in ways that are not immediately visible but deeply significant. The reason this call is approaching now is because the emotional atmosphere surrounding both of you is no longer heavy with confusion. It is clearer, calmer, and more ready for truth. When you receive this call, you may initially feel a rush of memories, but do not allow nostalgia to take control. Instead, remain present. Listen carefully not only to their words but to the energy behind them. You will sense a difference. You will notice maturity where there was once impulsiveness. You will hear sincerity where there was once avoidance. This is not accidental. Growth has occurred on both sides, and growth changes conversations in powerful ways. There was a time when this connection felt intense, maybe even overwhelming. At times it brought joy. At times it brought uncertainty. Perhaps you questioned whether things would ever feel steady between you. Perhaps you felt misunderstood or unheard. Yet what you may not realize is that distance allowed both of you to reflect on what truly mattered. Sometimes separation is not a sign of failure, sometimes it is divine space for clarity to form. This upcoming communication is not meant to reopen wounds but to acknowledge how far both of you have traveled since the last chapter closed. You are not the same person anymore. You respond differently. You think differently. You value yourself differently. That internal transformation is why this moment can unfold peacefully rather than painfully. Archangel Micheal is guiding this interaction to serve your highest good, not to destabilize your progress. It is also important to understand that not every reconnection means a restart. Sometimes life brings people back into our orbit simply to settle emotional accounts, to exchange truths that were once too difficult to express. This call may carry honesty that was previously missing. It may carry gratitude. It may carry explanation. And it may carry vulnerability that was once hidden behind pride or fear. When you hear their voice, you may notice that your reaction is softer than you expected. That softness is not weakness, it is emotional maturity. You have learned to respond rather than react. You have learned that peace matters more than proving a point. That lesson alone shows how much you have grown. Archangel Micheal encourages you to enter this conversation with balanced energy. Do not overextend yourself to fix everything. Do not shrink yourself to keep the peace. Stand in your truth calmly. Allow the other person to speak without interruption, because what they say will reveal where their heart currently stands. You do not need to rush decisions. You do not need to define the future in one conversation. Let clarity unfold naturally. If reconciliation is meant to happen, it will happen with ease, not force. If closure is meant to happen, it will feel like a gentle release rather than a painful goodbye. Divine timing does not create chaos, it creates resolution. There is also something significant about your intuition in this moment. Before the call even happens, you may sense its arrival. You may feel a subtle anticipation or a quiet inner knowing. Trust that feeling. Archangel Micheal often communicates through subtle impressions rather than dramatic signs. If you feel guided to answer, answer. If you feel guided to let it go to voicemail and respond later, honor that. Your inner discernment is stronger than ever. This entire situation is also an opportunity for you to see how aligned you have become with your own inner voice. In the past, you may have ignored your instincts. Now, you recognize them clearly. Another layer of this message involves forgiveness. Forgiveness does not always mean forgetting or returning to what was. Sometimes it simply means releasing the emotional weight so that it no longer controls your reactions. When this person calls, you may feel old memories surface, but you will also feel how much lighter they seem now compared to before. That lightness is evidence of healing. Archangel Micheal wants you to notice that you are no longer emotionally entangled in the same way. You are free enough to listen without losing yourself. You are strong enough to engage without sacrificing your peace. There is no need to fear what is coming. Nothing about this moment is designed to harm your stability. Instead, it is designed to highlight your emotional growth. Even if the outcome is unexpected, you will handle it with grace because you are no longer operating from insecurity. The person reaching out may be seeking clarity, closure, reconnection, or simply understanding. Whatever their intention is, you are prepared. The version of you who once felt confused is no longer present. In their place stands someone grounded, self-aware, and emotionally intelligent. As this situation unfolds, remember that you are protected. No conversation can derail your destiny. No interaction can steal what is meant for you. If this person is meant to walk beside you again, the path will open naturally. If they are meant to step away after this exchange, the separation will feel resolved rather than unfinished. Archangel Michael is reminding you that divine alignment does not create chaos, it creates understanding. You are stepping into a space where your responses are guided by wisdom instead of impulse. So stay steady. Stay aware. When the moment comes, answer with calmness. Speak with clarity. Listen with compassion. And most importantly, remain rooted in your self-worth. This call is not about going backward, it is about recognizing forward growth. Whatever unfolds will serve your highest good, because you are no longer operating from the same emotional space you once did. The conversation ahead is not a threat to your peace, it is proof of your transformation. There is another layer to this situation that you must understand calmly and clearly. This call is not only about the person reaching out to you, it is also about the version of yourself that will answer. In the past, you may have responded from emotion first and clarity later. You may have allowed tone, memory, or attachment to influence your reactions. But now something inside you is different. You have learned through experience. You have sat with silence. You have reflected on your patterns. You have healed in ways that even you sometimes forget to acknowledge. That is why this moment is approaching now. Divine timing does not arrange encounters randomly. It arranges them when your inner stability can handle them without shaking your foundation. This person who is about to call you has been carrying their own internal dialogue for quite some time. There were moments when they almost reached out before but stopped themselves. There were nights when they thought about what they would say, replaying conversations in their mind. There was hesitation because growth requires humility, and humility is not always easy. But something has shifted within them too. They have begun to see the connection through a clearer lens. They recognize where misunderstandings happened. They recognize where ego played a role. They recognize where silence created distance. And now, instead of letting pride win again, they are choosing communication. That choice alone reveals maturity. When the call comes, you might initially feel a small wave of uncertainty. That is natural. Your body remembers what your heart once felt. But Archangel Michael wants you to remain centered. Do not let old narratives rewrite themselves in your mind before you even hear their words. Stay neutral. Stay observant. Notice how your breathing feels. Notice how steady your thoughts remain compared to before. That steadiness is proof of your growth. You are no longer easily pulled into emotional storms. You have learned to anchor yourself. There is also something important about expectation. Do not build a story before the conversation even begins. Let it unfold. Sometimes we create outcomes in our imagination that do not reflect reality. This call may be simpler than you expect. It may be direct and honest. It may not contain dramatic declarations, but instead quiet sincerity. And quiet sincerity is often more powerful than intense emotion. Listen not only to what is being said but how it is being said. Tone carries truth. Energy carries intention. You will sense if their words are coming from reflection rather than impulse. You must also remember that you are not obligated to return to anything that compromises your peace. Growth does not mean reopening doors that should remain closed. It means responding consciously rather than unconsciously. If the conversation feels aligned, allow it to flow naturally. If something feels off, trust that feeling too. Archangel Micheal emphasizes discernment. You are not meant to ignore your intuition in order to be kind. You can be compassionate while still maintaining boundaries. True emotional maturity balances both. This moment may also bring clarity about your own heart. You may discover that what you once wanted has changed. You may realize that closure feels more valuable than reconnection. Or you may realize that a renewed chapter feels right because both of you have evolved. There is no predetermined script here. What matters most is that you approach it without fear and without attachment to a specific outcome. Peace is your priority now. And peace does not negotiate with chaos. Understand this clearly: nothing that is truly meant for you can be lost by taking your time. You do not need to rush decisions during this call. You do not need to promise anything immediately. You are allowed to process. You are allowed to reflect. You are allowed to say, "I need time to think." That statement alone shows strength. In the past, you may have felt pressured to respond instantly. Now, you understand that clarity grows in stillness. Archangel Micheal also wants you to recognize how far your emotional awareness has expanded. Before, you may have searched for reassurance externally. Now, you create reassurance internally. Before, you may have feared abandonment. Now, you trust that what aligns with you will remain without force. That shift changes everything. When you answer this call, you will not be answering from need. You will be answering from choice. And choice is powerful. Another important truth is that this interaction may not only impact you emotionally but spiritually. You may feel a sense of completion after it ends, even if nothing dramatic happens. Sometimes conversations act as energetic closures, even when both people move forward separately. You will sense whether this is a reopening or a closing. Pay attention to how your body feels after the call ends. Do you feel lighter? Do you feel calm? Do you feel grounded? Those sensations will guide you more accurately than words alone. You are entering this situation as someone who understands self-worth. You no longer chase. You no longer over-explain. You no longer compromise yourself to maintain connection. That internal shift means that whatever direction this conversation takes, you will remain whole. Archangel Micheal is not warning you of danger. He is reminding you of strength. He is reminding you that you are equipped. You are prepared. You are emotionally stable enough to navigate this with grace. So when the moment arrives, take one steady breath before speaking. Let silence exist naturally in the conversation. Silence is not awkward, it is thoughtful. Speak honestly but gently. Listen fully. And remember that this call is not about returning to the past. It is about witnessing how much the present version of you has grown. Whatever unfolds will reflect that growth. Whatever direction it takes will align with your peace. You are not being tested. You are being shown your evolution. And that realization alone will make this moment meaningful, no matter the outcome. There is something even deeper that you must prepare your heart for, and it has nothing to do with fear and everything to do with awareness. This call is not only about communication, closure, or even reconnection, it is about revelation. Archangel Micheal is showing you that this moment will quietly reveal what truly belongs in your life moving forward. For a long time, there has been a question in your spirit about this person. Not always loudly, not always consciously, but somewhere within you there has been unfinished energy. You may have tried to silence it with logic. You may have distracted yourself with new routines, new goals, new priorities. But energy that is unresolved does not disappear, it waits for clarity. And clarity is approaching. This person has reached a point of realization. They have seen something about you that they did not fully understand before. It may have taken distance, experience, or even loss for them to recognize your value. Sometimes people only recognize stability after they experience instability elsewhere. Sometimes they only understand depth after encountering surface-level connections. Whatever the reason, something inside them has shifted. This shift is not impulsive, it is reflective. They have thought about you carefully. They have replayed past interactions. They have reconsidered assumptions. And now they are choosing communication instead of silence. When the call comes, you may sense that it carries sincerity. There may be vulnerability in their tone that was absent before. You may hear accountability where there was once defensiveness. And if that happens, do not rush to fill the space. Let them speak. Let them explain. Let them show you who they have become. Because this is not about who they were, it is about who they are now. And you, too, are not who you were then. That is why this moment is different. Archangel Micheal wants you to understand that growth changes frequency. When two people grow separately and return to speak again, the energy is either harmonious or clearly mismatched. You will feel which one it is. If there is harmony, the conversation will feel steady and balanced. If there is mismatch, it will feel strained even if the words sound correct. Trust that sensation. Your intuition is no longer clouded by insecurity. It is sharper now. It is calmer now. And calm intuition is powerful. Another layer of this message involves self-respect. This call is an opportunity to observe how much you have strengthened your boundaries. In the past, you may have tolerated uncertainty because you feared losing connection. Now, you understand that connection without clarity is exhausting. If this person cannot meet you at the level you have reached, you will sense it quickly. And you will not feel devastated. You will simply feel informed. That is maturity. That is self-awareness. That is evolution. There is also the possibility that this call brings surprising honesty. They may admit feelings they once suppressed. They may express regret about choices made too quickly. They may share truths that were hidden by pride. If this happens, listen without ego. You do not need to win. You do not need to remind them how much you were hurt. Your silence, your composure, and your balanced tone will speak louder than any argument ever could. Sometimes strength is not in confrontation, it is in calm presence. However, remember this clearly: you are not responsible for repairing everything. Growth does not mean becoming the emotional caretaker. It means responding thoughtfully while maintaining your center. If reconciliation is meant to unfold, it will unfold gradually, not instantly. Trust gradual progress more than dramatic promises. Sustainable change is quiet, consistent, and patient. You will recognize whether this person carries that consistency or not. Archangel Micheal is guiding this moment not to confuse you but to solidify you. Whatever happens during this call, it will confirm something you already feel deep down. It may confirm that you have outgrown this connection. It may confirm that timing truly was the only issue. Or it may confirm that closure is finally here. But in all scenarios, you will walk away feeling clearer, not clouded. And clarity is a gift. There is a peaceful confidence surrounding you now. You are not desperate for answers. You are not waiting for validation. You are simply open to truth. That openness is what makes this moment powerful. Because when you are open without attachment, you allow divine alignment to reveal itself. You no longer force outcomes. You observe them. After the call ends, you will likely sit in silence for a moment. And in that silence, you will notice something important: you are steady. Your heart will not feel chaotic. Your thoughts will not spiral. Instead, you will feel composed. That composure is proof that you have grown beyond the emotional patterns that once controlled you. And regardless of what direction this connection takes next, that internal stability will remain. Archangel Michael's message is simple yet profound: you are ready. Ready to listen without fear. Ready to speak without insecurity. Ready to accept what aligns and release what does not. This call is not a threat to your peace, it is a reflection of your progress. It is not here to disrupt your life, it is here to clarify it. So when that moment arrives, welcome it with calm awareness. Let your words reflect your wisdom. Let your silence reflect your strength. Let your boundaries reflect your self-worth. And know that no matter what is said, no matter what unfolds, you remain grounded, protected, and aligned with what is truly meant for you. If this message resonated with you and you feel that calm sense of clarity in your heart right now, don't ignore it. Take one quiet second and type, "I trust divine timing," in the comments to affirm your readiness for whatever unfolds next. Stay grounded, stay aware, and if you want to continue receiving messages that strengthen your peace and intuition, make sure you subscribe and stay connected. The next moment of clarity may arrive when you least expect it.